What is up, everybody, and welcome back to another NBA 2K17 Pro Am game. As Brian gonna lose the ball, and we start off with a turnover. The Syracuse University team getting the first bucket of the game on the other end. We played good defense right there, did all we could, bodied him, but part of the reason why that guy made that was because the opposing point guard was a slasher, as he throws up a weird lob that's actually gonna work out for them. In fact, both the point guard and the shooting guard were slashers, so you don't normally see a double slasher backcourt in the Pro-Am, but that's what we're going against today as Michael hits that long three. They had double slashers, and then they had double shot creators at the small forward and power forward position as Nick turns the ball over, and they're gonna get the dunk on the other end. A little bit of a sloppy start for us here. And in the center, I think it was like a glass cleaner or an athletic finisher, one of those guys that, you know, can't really shoot or anything like that, is Michael looking for Walsh inside, and he's gonna throw it down. Meanwhile, our lineup, we have Nick in there instead of Josh. It's our normal five, except Nick's there, and Nick should be the shooting guard. He's shorter than Walsh, but they actually put Walsh at the shooting guard spot and Nick at small forward. Not really a big deal, but just a little thing as we throw up a big lob for Brian. He's gonna finish with a nice little layup right there. And you guys gonna notice that in this game in particular, we were pretty aggressive. You guys know we're looking to set up our teammates and all of that as we're going to the rim and straight up and in with the layup right there. Now that doesn't really count as aggressive. That was just being ahead of the pack right there. But when we had the ball in our hands, we were trying to create right here, because with this lineup specifically, we have 3 sharpshooters around myself and then Brian's glass cleaner, which means nobody else can really create their shot without, you know, people setting screens left and right and all of that. So that means me as the playmaking point guard, not only do I have to you know, get everybody else involved, I gotta get my own shots. I get right there a perfect release, because if they don't respect my shot, that doesn't really open up the floor for anyone else, especially since they're running a zone right here. So I got to find the holes in the zone, do what I got to do. We try to hit Walsh right there, but good ball movement finds Michael in the corner, and he gets the corner 3 down and in. In a close game so far, near the end of the first, and they're going to close the lead up with one last bucket. We do get the ball past midcourt, and unfortunately missed that shot right there. Did a little pump fake, and it kind of ruined our release at the end. Probably should have just put it up. Either way, you know, just got to do whatever we can at the end of the quarter. So far, doing so good with our, you know, little makeshift lineup. Obviously, our best lineup, we feel like, is you know, inserting Josh instead of Nick, but Nick's just here. Let's just space the floor. Don't screw anything up. He did have a couple of turnovers early on. As long as he doesn't get like 10 turnovers or anything like that, we can manage it for the most part. These guys are a pretty good team, as you guys saw by their record, so definitely cannot sleep on them. And like I said, we just gotta be creative. Gotta find people open when they're open like Brian, but when, you know, they're sticking to the rest of our teammates like glue, we gotta create. We gotta get more buckets than we usually do. As Nick gets that, or that guy gets that bucket right there. But look at us putting on dribble moves out here, trying to put on a little exhibition all the way to the rim, and then back out to Walsh for 3. When I say, you know, be aggressive, I don't just mean, you know, getting ourselves more points than usual, though that is part of what I mean. It's also that kind of stuff where if they are going to commit 3 guys on us, then we got to pass out. But either way, you know, quick, aggressive moves with the ball, try to create more than usual, because, you know, usually with our normal lineup, Josh is, you know, sort of a second creator with his slasher. He'll be able to drive inside, he'll be able to kick in all that, but here we go! Trying to get the dunk! That gets blocked, but it's a good aggressive take right there, and it forces the center to respect our drive to the rim, and sometimes that's what you got to do. Even if you get blocked 1 or 2 times by the center, you got to make them respect the fact that you're gunning that shot, and then maybe next time as Nick knocks down that 3-pointer, you know, we can give it to Brian. It's something that we don't do a good enough job of sometimes, where, you know, I'll just, you know, give it to Brian rather than take that aggressive take, as they get the dunk on the other end right there. But we're doing a pretty good job of that so far this game. You see Michael, the player to have so far, he's got 14 points, and you know, we're doing a pretty good job. You know, not only just myself, the other thing we have to do to get people open shots is good ball movement. You see that slasher got a nice little open look right there, a little spin and slam at the end of the shot clock as Michael gets the ball inside to Brian. He's throwing it down. Michael and Brian had a good connection throughout this game. I got a good connection with the rim, stealing the ball from the other team. Had a good connection with just about everything going on right here, as we're going to get an open shot in the corner and knock it down. We're feeling ourselves right now. 7 points early on right here. It doesn't feel like a lot, but like I said, it's more you guys can tell the aggressiveness rather than just, you know, walking in the paint with the icons out and all of that. Here, we're just gonna throw the lob to Brian. Quick decisions right there. Gotta see if the center is gonna react to us, and if he does, then we give it to Brian. If the center doesn't react, then, you know, we put up a floater or we put up a layup or something like that. But the main thing is making that center have to make that decision by blowing by our guy, going through the holes in the zone as Brian puts up the layup right there. And I feel like we're a good team against the zone because, you know, I feel like I could get my spots in zone defense, even more so than man defense. I can understand where the holes are. You see right here, they commit to our shooters, and that's going to leave the paint wide open right there. In that situation, I might throw that past the Walsh and maybe put Walsh in a not so good situation because that guy's going to close out on him, but you know, this game right here, we just went inside the paint and almost still didn't get our shot up because we you know, didn't put up a dunk. But hey, we got it as their shot creators are starting to hit some tough shots right now. That is, you know, the main thing of shot creators. But, you know, we're playing good defense on them. They're still hitting those, and it's keeping them in the game right now as they're running up ahead of the pack. And they're going to make that circus shot. I believe that was the shooting guard slasher. It's kind of annoying because we're playing good defense on all these shots. That was like a left-handed shot. But, you know, you just got to live with the results. You know, you play good defense, you just live with the results at the end of the day. You play good offense, you definitely live with the results of an open floater that goes in. And we have ourselves 11 points at the end of the third quarter as Walsh gets the block right there. Normally, you guys won't see us in double digits in points unless it's like, you know, late in the fourth quarter, we get some garbage time bucket or something like that as we go inside. And once again, quick decisions. The center's jumping, we're giving it to Brian. That's an easy bucket right there for Brian. And we're working a nice little two-man game inside. It was a lot of Michael in that first half. He had 14 points. Now they're starting to respect him, and that's opening up a lot of space for me and Brian to operate as Walsh gets the block. Walsh has been a menace on the defensive end of this game. Look at those stats. 3 steals, 3 blocks, and a number of good rotations as Brian with the corner 3. Questionable shot right there. He has a glass cleaner. They can make it sometimes, but, you know, he doesn't really have a good 3-point rating or anything like that, so it's not our preferred shot unless there's like 2 seconds left in the shot clock. Is once again good shot defense, and this guy's just bodying us and going in. I don't have my defense all the way upgraded on this guy, so maybe if I have my defense upgraded, 1 or 2 of those shots do not go in, but I just gotta live with the results. And I can live with the results with an open Michael 3 all day long. These guys just didn't have it on the offensive end or the defensive end, I felt like. They were just a little bit missing on both sides. On the offensive end, you know, there's double slasher, double shot creator lineup. The glaring weakness as we put on a nice move and get the and one finish was that they didn't have much 3-point shooting. And it definitely showed up in this game. We were packing the paint and, you know, they had to make tough shots to stay in the game as they did right there. And then on the defensive end, I didn't really think they're trying to set charges and all this stuff. They're trying to get me to, you know, run into a charge. We didn't do that once all game, and there were just glaring holes in their zone that we took advantage of as that guy tries to reverse layup at the end of the game. I guess for pride's sake, it doesn't go down by. You see what I mean right there? That guy trying to draw that charge. They were doing that all game long. They're 2 backcourt guys, and it just didn't work once. I don't really sprint with the ball up the court because it's so easy to get a charge in this year's game that you know, even if they're not set for a charge, you'll still get called for one. So you gotta be careful with those. We did a good job of that, played a good game, and got the victory. So leave a like on the video if you guys enjoyed it. Subscribe for more NBA 2K17 Pro Am games. And until then, I'll catch you guys next time.